So you don't have the option to go into the gyrocopter here to punish the Eidolons. It should still be fairly effective in shoving out a lane.
Well, Cignal Ultra now. They end up banning out the Lycan. Of course, GeekFam do go ahead and ban out the Rubik. And Cignal Ultra directly into the Dragon Knight. Another great pickup here for this Cignal Ultra side. It's a very, very strong hero in this kind of meta. Kind of works well with the Oracle as well, in a weird way, right? You have these two cores now that are just very, very hard to kill. I still make the argument, however, that you're picking DK Morph Oracle into a Spirit Vessel carrier, and there is still an AA that is to be picked up for GeekFam if they so wish, and they won't.
Oh.
They go into the Grimstroke.
Yeah, well, that does give GeekFam the Ember Spirit Grimstroke combo, right? So you've got the Inkswell on when you run in, really easy additional damage control for the Ember Spirit, and it makes it a lot more potent in the fights. Even the Soulbind in this case with double Malefice can be quite potent. So I don't mind this too much coming out from GeekFam. I think there is a lot they could do with this combination they have so far. I just feel like the response from Cignal is kind of okay as well, right? You worry about the Spirit Vessel, but beyond that, I think you've still got a lot of options here. You have a great way of dealing with the Eidolons now with the DK, so he can wave clear fairly consistently, and it's going to be a bit harder to have that Enigma get the constant push out. Whereas the DK also gives Cignal a way to push once he hits 6.
That's a fair point. Like, I can't disagree with that. Cignal Ultra, they are quite potent with these pickups already. And I am intrigued to see what they go for their fourth pick now to really start rounding this draft off a little bit. We are still lacking a position 4 hero for Cignal Ultra. And I'm sure we'll see it now. Just a matter of what it's going to be. You would have loved the Rubik, obviously, but GeekFam ended up getting rid of that very, very early on.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit too much of a free Rubik game with the Enigma.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you really should take care of that, and they did. You still have a silencer if you're really worried. The
There it
Venge is
is.
one way as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
goes through BKB, that swap, interrupts anyway. So you've got the solid way of preventing that black hole from being an issue. And it plays nicely with a strap. It has great minus armor, great physical damage can come out here. The control in terms of teamfight control is a bit lacking. Right? You're looking at mainly single target spells coming out here, but there is potency. GeekFam does pick up the Ursa, so it's starting to look like perhaps the Raven Ursa making an appearance here. And it's not bad. You've got the Grimstroke combination with the Ursa as well. I just kind of worry about the kite ability of this hero. Oracle can disarm the Ursa. Venge can just swap him around constantly.
Yeah.
There's a lot to keep that Ursa away from some key targets.
It seems as though they're confident with the Inkswell Ursa combination. It seems like that's what they're kind of banking on. But I do agree, like, there is so much kite ability, and, like, even the disarm, like you mentioned, with the Fate's Edict from the Oracle. I don't know. GeekFam, they must be feeling confident with the Raven Ursa to bring it out up against this kind of lineup here from Cignal Ultra. But then again, judging from how they did last game, I can't really doubt them with their draft. To be perfectly frank with you,
Yeah.
it does look a bit awkward. And right now, all your teamfight control is basically Grimstroke Enigma. But why not, right? At least they make it a very interesting kind of draft to end us off for the night. And the last pick, gonna be that Queen of Pain for Carl.
Yeah, I think this is looking like a very solid lineup for GeekFam. There is still flexibility here. I believe they have given Cuckoo the offlane Queen of Pain as well. So Cignal has to kind of balance it out with what they close out with as well. Are they going for the offlane DK? Do they want the DK mid? If it's the DK mid, GeekFam has the Ember and the Queen of Pain to toss at you. Which matchup do you really want to do? It's a great way to just tie the draft of GeekFam up. And of course, the Queen of Pain. Fast timings. Starts
Ooh.
online fast and,
That's a weird one. That's a real weird one for me. The Enchantress comes out. I don't see a particular reason to go for that. Okay, so
Yeah.
they're running the offlane Enchantress, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Van's gonna be that. So okay, they're gonna have the Enchantress to deal with Raven in that
Mm.
offlane. But after that lane's over, right? We all know Enchantress dominates the lane. But after that, what do you do with her? She's
Uh,
she kind of becomes a bit lackluster.
yeah. I think they really just want to kite Raven around. This last pick really took away from the draft for me. I was expecting something that could allow them to set a pace, set a tempo here. Maybe something with team fight, maybe something with initiation. Something like the Centaur could have made an appearance. Anything like that. The Enchantress, it's good damage.
Mm.
It's good sustain. It's annoying to deal with, but you're not gaining any more control. You're not
No.
gaining too much burst damage coming out. Like impetus is nice, but it only does so much. I think GeekFam now has a lot of leeway to maximize their draft. Of course, it is the Cuckoo Queen of Pain going off, so you're still having that Ember Spirit mid up against Jamesy, and that is something the Ember Spirit can just easily farm in. He's probably not going to find a kill, but you're still going to find decent timings for that Ember Spirit, and I think that's the big issue here. The lineup of GeekFam can come online fairly quick, whereas Cignal Ultra, you're waiting for the Morphling to be up and ready.
Well, there goes Whiteman. He's gone. It's going to be an interesting game to finish this off for the night. We'll see what Cignal Ultra's plan is. Of course, game one not exactly going their way. They'll try to make it an even draw for game number 2. It is their first series of the BTS Pro Series number 2 as well. I think we could all agree, though, GeekFam does look substantially stronger with their own draft.
Oh yeah.
Interesting to note, though, it is going to be a pos 4 Enigma we're seeing here, and that was kind of a question I had in the drafting stage. In the drafting stage, when we did see that last pick, Queen of Pain, but you did call it. The Cuckoo Queen of Pain is going to be upon us. That'll mean Carl will be on that mid Ember. But the pos 4 Enigma, don't know how to feel about that one, because every time we've seen it, it just seems to struggle.
It does. It requires a fair bit of space. I think GeekFam's lineup can give it that space. It's almost like a shaker, right? Like, after the laning phase, you need to actually buy time for the pause 4 to find that farm. And the lineup of GeekFam, if they have a good laning phase, there is going to be room for the Enigma to grow. So there is potency there. It's just the impact of Zephyr. We'll find out what they go for. He is queuing up the Necrobook, so just wants to secure that early farm first.
Oh, that's fine. That's pretty standard. Like, we see that with an off-lane Enigma every single time. I can't imagine it changes too much with the pos 4. It's obviously going to add on to the push potential here for Zephyr with those Eidolons. Does deny one creep off for Cuckoo to start. Luckily for the side of Cignal Ultra, they knew this was going to happen in advance. They sent a bat into that mid lane as the Morphling. And, well, Carl's going to make it hard for that Morphling for sure. Even with that level 1 Flame Guard, you just saw how much damage he does when a bat is Agimorphed. And Carl, we saw him in the Bat Rider. He's a very aggressive player right now in this mid lane. And looks like he doesn't intend to change that anytime soon.
Yeah, I think this lane is going to be a bit easier for Abbat as he hits maybe level 3. Earlier on, Carl should have a lot of ways of forcing this out, but the kill op is pretty hard. He's going to need a support rotation to force Abbat really low. I'm not sure if GeekFam can afford that with how greedy their initial lineup is.
That top lane, Raven gonna have to deal with that that Enchantress for now. Van, of course, went for the level 1 Impetus. Pretty much just gonna be able to spam that out every single time he has it off cooldown. Thing is, you do tend to run out of mana pretty darn quick, and Eris gets very low thanks to Whiteman, but he will just TP back towards his own tier 1 tower on that Venge. And, you know, for now at the very least, Raven, he's doing okay in CS, but they've got creep equilibrium on the side of Cignal Ultra, and I don't know, it seems very important that this Enchantress pick works. Otherwise, this
Yeah.
whole draft could just start falling apart for Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, it's, again, just how GeekFam plays. They focus on giving Raven a lot of farm and space to build up. I think this time, though, it's not going to be as scary if Raven gets a bit of a slower start, because he's going to just need EXP. He wants to be active earlier on the Ursa. He wants to fight around, although he is queuing up a battlefield, so maybe he will just keep farming anyway.
Eris getting chased down now by Raven. The stun is going to be out from Eris, and that'll stop Raven from chasing him down any further. It's a real dangerous combination to have, though. That Inkswell into the Earthshock of the Ursa. It's basically a guaranteed stun, but it's just so much damage output. It's extremely hard to survive it if you are caught out of position.
Yeah, it's super potent, and that is something that GeekFam can force out well, although it is a bit hard for Whitemon to stay in that lane. Can't really show his face, as Van punishes quite hard, and as an Enchantress, of course, once you have some levels in Nature's Attendants, you're going to have some great natural sustain as well.
Goes for the enchant for now, though, like... Raven, gonna get slowed up by that enchant. Eris gonna go for the magic missile. I just don't see enough damage coming out. Raven should just be fine, though. Eris, nice body block. Eris will have another stun in a few seconds. But Whiteman now threatening with the Inkswell. And maybe they find Whiteman instead. Enchant gonna be there, and yeah, he's a much easier kill to take. So they do find the first blood, which is still great news for the side of Cignal Ultra. Just not quite finding the target they wanted, but in all fairness, Raven is now stuck with basically no HP in the lane.
Yeah, this is really hurting that initial farm for Raven, so I would consider this a pretty good start for Cignal up top. They're just finding that harassment, they're making this Enchantress actually work, which we were looking for. So the pick is kind of paying off for now.
The question is, how long does it pay off, though? Like, Raven's looking to try and make a jump in. The impetus is going to be pretty annoying, as the higher levels you get on that impetus, the faster you can spam it. Wyman's going to have to kind of stick by Raven now, make sure he doesn't take too much harass. In fact, Magic Missile going to fly out. Raven, one more impetus would do the job, but Van, he was trying to avoid the Inkswell. Had he just run forward and just got that impetus off, that would have been a kill. And instead, now you will see Raven getting a salve from his Grimstroke friend. And in fact, looping around behind Van, trying to get that Earthshock off. He doesn't quite land it. And so back to farming for him. Meanwhile, bot lane, however, looks like Cuckoo does end up finding Grims, and they both, they get 2 couriers at the bot lane. Jamesy and Grims both losing their couriers.
Yeah, that's a nice amount of gold going their way. They did give up on the 1 bounty rune, so that kind of compensates for that, and it is a bit of a better time bot for GeekFam than it is top.
Well, Eris will go down up at the top lane. Whiteman securing that kill with the Inkswell Stroke of Fate. Van, however, going to try and pursue a kill onto the Grimstroke now. Can't really get a hit through that Fog of War. But they've still done a great job. Like, Raven's running back to the fountain again. In terms of farm, he's really got nothing. Bot lane, Cuckoo dies on the Queen of Pain. So Grim's picking up another very important kill across the map. And overall, I think the side of GeekFam needs Carl to start making rotations soon on this Ember. He does find a double damage rune, so he could definitely try to make that happen. But seemingly feels like it's just going to keep going this way until Carl does decide to make a side lane rotation.
Yeah, I think this is really the weakness of GeekFam's draft. The laning phase is a bit slower. You just can't expect as much from the Enigma, from Zephyr. So you are just running basically man short. That's the weakness of the support Enigma, and Carl can kind of dip in early. It's just when you do that, you are giving a bot a free lane. That's a morph lane that you're giving free farm to. Really not the best idea.
Well, Van getting very, very low. Cuckoo will secure the kill with the Scream. They just switch out the lanes here. And he has Sonic Wave available, so they can definitely try and just pursue the kill onto Eris. Poison being applied to Eris, and now just a Sonic Wave will basically guarantee the kill, but Cuckoo seems to want to hold on to that ability, and instead he will just auto-attack him to death. It's a great double kill now coming out for Cuckoo.
Yeah, I think this is a much better lane for GeekFam. I'm surprised they didn't swap this out earlier. Of course, this does mean Raven's basically solo, though, because Zephyr is in the jungle. So perhaps consider rotating the Grimstroke down bot as well. You don't really want to leave Raven this isolated in this bot lane.
He's still better off than up against the Enchantress, it seems. Still a bit afraid of the Grimm's Jamesy combo. He's gonna sit around and wait for his wave. Meanwhile, the Bat has been farming decently himself on the Morphling now, approaching that 50 CS mark. Does have the Morbid Mask up, so he can just calmly farm up the jungle. Bot lane, Jamesy gonna get jumped here by Cuckoo, but he is surrounded right now, being perma-stunned up, and Cuckoo does end up dying, but now Raven wants to go after Jamesy and does at least secure the trade. That'll be the first kill of the game coming out for the Ursa now.
Yeah, I think GeekFam is still going to be happy with that trade. Offlaner for offlaner, but you do give the one kill to your safe laner. So Raven does get a little bit more value there. And he is still going for the Battle Fury, so again, it's gonna be a slower start for our Ursa. There's a lot of space on the map that has to be eaten up by him and Zephyr. And this does mean, for a while, GeekFam is gonna be vulnerable.
Raven being chased down now by 3 heroes. Jamesy does TP his way back down bot. They need a stun off on Raven. Fortune's End will lock him in for a bit, and now Jamesy can secure with the Dragon Tail. Eris with the follow-up stun. Still, Raven is very tanky and still hasn't rage. In fact, he's the one rushing forward, as Zephyr is coming in to help out with those Eidolons. He doesn't have Black Hole yet, but now Carl jumps in as well, and Jamesy is falling low. Not low enough yet, but he does finally go down, as Van gonna try and secure a trade. Zephyr so close to hitting 6, but he does end up dying. Now Cuckoo, however, does find the trade in the form of the Enchantress. And, where is Grimm's hiding? He is right in there.
Yeah, that's a really good tree spot. They don't manage to find him, so he just gets to stare at it.
His robe sticking out. His cape or whatever, just sticking out of the trees. Nobody sees it. He'll be fine. Luckily for him, the remnant out from Carl didn't break the tree line either, so he'll just stand still and pretend he's a tree. Eris, however, may not be so lucky, trying to go after the 10-minute bounty rune, and actually does pick it up, but will go down in the process.
Yeah, it's not the worst trade. At least you give your life out for a lot more gold for your team. I think Cignal's still going to be happy with that. Of course, they are, with this aggression from GeekFam, Cignal has been able to find space for Abad, so he's still farming up, has the power treads up. We're going straight for the shotgun next. It's going to be a bit slow going, but as long as Abad keeps up that free farm, you're going to find it at a decent pace.
Raven actually finds Jamesy down at the bot lane. Wasn't expecting that one. Jamesy just maybe out of position there. Cignal definitely weren't expecting it either. They took the mid-tier 1 tower while that was happening. Not too bad of a trade again for Cignal, because you do find the mid-tier 1 for that DK dying. It's not all bad.
Yeah, and they're getting a steady push up top as well. So the top tier 1 gone as well. 2 towers for the life of 1. Not the worst trade. They are still bleeding some kills towards Raven. That is an issue. Has the Perseverance up. So just a couple of parts left until that Battle Fury Ursa is up and running.
We see some deep wards coming out now from Cignal Ultra as they start forcing in that top tier 2 tower. A Bat just needs the... Actually has the Ghost Scepter on the way. He just needs the... what do you call it? The Eagle Song. To finish off that shotgun blast. They aren't really going to back off too fast from this tier 2. In fact, never mind, they are. They lost their creep wave. Instead, however, Carl does get spotted out for a little bit on that Ember, but we'll get out of there. They are applying pressure on that bottom tier 2 tower anyway, so it's not all bad for GeekFam. They are still making them think about retreating and defending their own tier 2.
I think this is a bit more efficient farming for GeekFam. Like, you see the clump up from Cignal not really leading to kills. You're just kind of wasting time with your supports, whereas GeekFam are finding a bit more farm across the map, and most certainly still building up slowly but surely. This delay really does favor GeekFam just a bit.
Well, they try to force in that mid-tier 1, but Cignal Ultra will try to defend this. Eris in a lot of trouble, however. He will survive for now, but that illusion chasing him down, and it will be enough with the units coming out from Zephyr. I thought Carl had just left a bit preemptively, but it was not the case. He actually does secure the kill with Zephyr. Now thinking about going after Grims, but doesn't have chains yet. So can't really lock him down. I think GeekFam probably will really want that Spirit Vessel up before they keep chasing these big team fights.
Yeah, it's almost up on Carl. Just a little bit of gold left. And on top of that, I think you're starting to finish up on a lot more items. Raven is one part away from his Battle Fury. You do see certain things coming out for Cignal as well, though. Like, again, we mentioned a shotgun for Abbat. It's just about 1,800 gold away. So it should be up at around the same time the Battle Fury should be done. Around about that same time. The important thing for Cignal is the blink on Jamesy, but if he gets found here...
Black Hole, just going to be committed from Zephyr. He's been holding it for a while, may as well commit to find a kill, but now a great Soulbind coming out, and this is going to allow Raven to just jump in and clean up. In fact, Cuckoo, a great Sonic Wave. And we're not done yet. Carl, he knows the Oracle's behind them. He does now have that level 1 chains and does secure the kill. It's going to be a 4-man wipe for the price of nothing. And with that, they could try to force in this bottom tier 2 tower.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty straightforward push with all of the heroes here. You do have the Necrobooks up. Yeah, go. Yeah, I guess they want to play a bit more passively, just farm up. This is giving Abbat that space up top. So he is 1,000 gold away from the shotgun. Signal's just waiting for that and the blink and Jamesy. So they can't afford to have Jamesy keep dropping. He needs to save his farm for the blink. They need the DK to jump in and start these fights. That's their best initiation.
Chains gonna come out top lane. A Bat will just TP out in front of them. They won't bother pursuing the kill attempt. Instead, mid lane looks like they have found Jamesy on the Dragon Knight, but he's also a little bit too tanky right now. Especially if it's only Zephyr chasing him down. Zephyr gonna get out of there as well. So you've got a 5k net worth lead on GeekFam. Like, even though Abbat is the top net worth right now, overall as a team, GeekFam is finding a lot more gold on the map. And there is that Battle Fury now finally coming out for the Ursa. It's actually pretty decent timing considering the circumstances up at that top lane.
Yeah, and this is going to accelerate that farm now for Raven. You've got the blink up and running from Zephyr as well. So the blink black hole is ready to go, although...
Yeah, jump in now. Abbat morphs into the Enigma, takes the Midnight Pulse and the Malefice, and just takes him out. Luckily, I guess you didn't reveal the blink, though, as it wasn't out on the Enigma yet, so they don't actually know the blink exists yet for Zephyr.
Yeah, just still a bit more of a surprise factor left for GeekFam, and they're just happy enough to farm up. Like, they have been the aggressors, but Cignal, with their lineup, which you'd expect to try to find pickoffs, just isn't. You know, they're taking their time. This does worry me a bit, mainly because, again, they're putting all their eggs into one basket, and it's all riding on Abbat, who does finish the shotgun. So maybe now, Cignal starts blowing a couple of heroes up with the damage output of Abbat.
Perhaps. We'll find out very soon. I'm sure that's the game plan for Cignal. Perhaps a smoke to come out now. They will. down in the bot lane where they know Raven and Whiteman are. So GeekFam retreating at the best time possible. They may lose Whiteman. He's trying to have a bit of a hide here in the tree line, but will reveal himself a little bit. Instead, however, Cignal try to go mid, but no, they're going to the dire triangle now. Just trying to find anybody across the map, and oh, they actually loop around and do find Raven. Inkswell going to be there with the Soulbite as well. They're trying to blow him up, but he got the enrage off in time.
Oh, man.
And that'll be the shotgun reveal. And now Cuckoo is there, jumping in to start a new team fight. Carl also around the corner. You also have the Blink Black Hole, don't forget. Zephyr, where is he right now? He's just waiting on the low ground. Still waiting for it. Just waiting for that perfect opportunity as they are going onto a bat slowly but surely. And Cignal Ultra, they are going to back off. They're not going to risk anything. They missed their opportunity to kill the Ursa, and there was a bit of a delay on the shotgun blast from the Morphling because he did allow the enrage to come off first. And I think that's what really cost them that kill.
Yeah, and well, not the best reveal. This will allow GeekFam to head straight for the Roche Pit, and it's not going to take them too long. They hold on to Black Hole as well, so even if Cignal was aware, they'd have to fight into a potential black hole, and it's not really the best spot to force that fight.
Easy Roshan. The GeekFam just completely free. And it's back to the drawing board now for Cignal Ultra. I didn't realize Van had a Necro 3 book up.
Yeah, it is boosting his presence and giving them a lot more push potential as well. It's just we haven't seen it in play. You know, it's been Cignal sitting back, farming up as well, while GeekFam has been the ones kind of hunting and punishing. That you don't tend to even notice that potency of the Enchantress's push, because they haven't been pushing.
Well, Cignal Ultra, they are grouped up again. We do have a smoke out on Grims. They could try to make another sort of smoke attempt here.
There's a smoke up in GeekFam, though.
Could be big. Carl gonna break his smoke onto Grims. There's the Inkswell coming out with the chains, and it does all connect. He won't be able to false promise. With that now, you know the support oracle's down, so you can go for another tier 2 push if you really want to. Raven does get started. Meanwhile, the rest of GeekFam are running up towards the Radiant Triangle. They won't find anybody else.
Yeah, it's been pretty disciplined avoidance from Cignal, so they're not bleeding out as much as you'd expect here. But it just feels like the map is slipping away from their control. They're not the ones setting the pace. They're not the ones forcing the aggression. And as long as Cignal plays responsive like this, you start to wonder just when will this Morphling be ready to burst heroes down.
Well, Cignal going to start forcing in the top tier 2 tower, so they're just going to take what they can get. GeekFam not really in position to start forcing down that bottom tier 2. They're trying to just get the creep wave in. They really want to take a fight with this Aegis, but they might need to force it out. It's like Carl on the Ember does end up finding Eris on that Vengeful Spirit, however. Now, who else have they found? The Black Hole is going to be committed onto that Enchantress. And, well, it's a slow process, but Van may go down, but they just can't hit him. They want to commit that Sonic Wave very, very soon, and they do, but it's still not enough. He gets the Necro 3 units out, but the Stroke of Fate will be out there from Whiteman, and that will prove to be the finale of this Enchantress. Raven now chasing after the side of Cignal Ultra. A great Malefice cancelling the TP of a bat. He's trying to run away right now. Does use the Ethereal on himself, and will just keep strength morphing. But Chains is going to be out with the Spirit Vessel from Carl, and that is going to guarantee the death of the Morphling. Now even finding more. They do get Grims on the Oracle, who was trying to get a false promise off. And GeekFam now extending their lead to 8k on this dire side, looking much, much stronger.
Yeah, they've finally started to find those pickoffs across the map. Cignal, again, they've spent so much time farming, none of it is shaping up to be a worthwhile investment. Even their Morphling with a shotgun is just not strong enough to burst any of these heroes down. Cignal needs to start playing together as a team. They need to start getting the initiation out with Jamesy, blowing people up with a morph, but every single time they don't have the vision out, they don't find their targets. And it just goes back to farm where GeekFam is happy to trade.
Well, Van gonna slightly juke out that sleight of fist from Carl. You still do have a tower advantage here for the side of Cignal Ultra. But Carl wants to go fix that up. Does make his way down to the bot lane. Meanwhile, Ursa jumping onto Eris right now on that Venge. Cuckoo also going to be there. Jamesy trying to body block for his support Vengeful Spirit and does do so successfully. Now Raven needs to get out of there. He still holds on to the Aegis but will lose it. Now the real team fight begins. Van, he's being chased down, but False Promise will save his life for now. Carl is still chasing him down though. Meanwhile, Grims will die on the Oracle. Carl still working on towards that Enchantress. Cuckoo trying to burst him down and finally gets there with the Sonic Wave. But now the shotgun will be juked out by the Blink. And Jamesy does jump in onto the Grimstroke. Meanwhile, Carl remnanting back in now onto Eris. Jamesy gonna be in trouble. They're just dancing around the side of Cignal Ultra right now as the DK will also die. And a Bat's the only one left. Will they dive tier 3s? The answer is yes, definitely. They're diving tier 3s. The Midnight Pole's there, and he is melting. Do not ghost form yourself in that. It's a lot of damage. A Bat will at least get himself out, though. Carl, just seeing if he can get lucky with that final sleight of fist chains, but it won't be enough to kill off a Bat. They do go back for the tier 2 tower, though.
Yeah, I think that's one of the saving graces there for Cignal, is that GeekFam couldn't actually push the high ground, so they lose out in the fight, but they stall out the tier 2 take, which means that they don't bleed out in any more objectives. You are still seeing GeekFam build up, though. 12k advantage now, 24 minutes in. You're seeing Raven build into the Basher, and once he has that up, you're not running from this Fuzzy Wuzzy. He's just going to be bursting you down.
I miss when we used to be able to call him Fuzzy Wuzzy. So cute back then. Smoke from GeekFam. They don't want Van. They saw how annoying he is to take out with that untouchable, but James, he's definitely a much better target to try on. The DK, Inkswell, not really going to connect on anyone from Carl, but they have the Soulbind down. James, he's moving a little slowly right now and will go down. Now Raven, he can deal with the Enchantress. Get himself some sweet revenge, though. Nice swap out from Eris. Still the Inkswell. Going to allow Raven to keep diving forward. There will be a False Promise, however. That'll save the day. Now, Shotgun. Not going to be enough. Raven does survive through it. Carl now wanting to try it onto a Bat. Remnants forward. Lincoln's broken on Carl. He just wants that Oracle. Can he find him in time? Not quite yet. Sonic Wave, however, with the black hole coming out from Zephyr. And they will team wipe them. It's a very prolonged team fight. Zephyr just really patient. Ended up pulling off a very nice black hole to finally finish it off.
Yeah, and GeekFam, they're starting to find their grip here. They're starting to be able to find the proper targets and jumping in. The moment you just take Jamesy out, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even get into the dragon form to start these fights for Cignal, and that is causing a lot of issues for Cignal. They're just playing on the defensive when their lineup is really geared for single target pickoffs.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
GeekFam extending that net worth lead to 19k. It's quite a high lead. That Dota Plus win probability right now sitting at 95% for GeekFam. It's a big number. Carl's feeling confident. He is 7-0-12, John. He hasn't died this game, and I hope I didn't just jinx him. He is going to remnant out of there. Meanwhile, top lane, Eris does end up losing his life on the Venge. And GeekFam are going to start setting up for these top tier 1 towers, which has just been left there for a while now. Be a very, very easy
Top
take.
tower has fallen.
Yeah, and they can keep the push up. You take a look at Cuckoo's farm, he has Guardian Greaves, so all the sustain in the world coming out here for GeekFam in a highly mobile package. You can just be anywhere you need to be to get those Greaves off for your team.
Where do you go now if you're Cignal Ultra? Like, you've just kind of fallen flat. A Bat has had no real success with the shotgun build either. I don't think he's actually killed anyone with it.
No, he hasn't yet. And Cignal right now, they need to find a pickoff. I'd say smoke again, try to play around your wards. They need more wards out. They've only got one. So they're not even aware of where GeekFam is.
Carl,
Radiant's top tower
a
is
scout
under
out a Bat, but he's currently by himself. Lincoln's is going to be broken there from a Bat. Now the chain's out from this Morphling, and there is going to be help in from James with the Dragon Tail. They have some lockdown here, and Carl going way too far. And that is going to be his first death of the game now coming out.
Radiant's top tower.
He does buy
Yeah.
his team space, however, to find that top tier 2, but it's not like they were going to contest it anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wasteful debt.
Radiant's top tower.
At the same time, I mean, the map is naked now for Cignal. They don't have any access points outside. It's a bit harder for them to even just go out and ward. But Cignal needs to get that information out. Again, their lineup just relies on single target. And you saw what happens when they do find someone isolated. They can easily take control and burst them down. They need a lot more of that kind of movement here. And that requires them to have some information on the map.
It's like, how do you get that information out, though, John? Like, they smoke up now. They're going to try. And Grimm's, of course, going to go on his little warding mission while he can. Meanwhile, Roshan being attempted right now from GeekFam, and it seems as though Cignal Ultra will run straight into them, though Jamesy, seeing the courier now, will be aware of what's going on. He just jumps straight in onto the Queen of Pain Kaka, or excuse me, Cuckoo. He will die straight away. We'll buy back. Now, Abyssal straight from Raven onto a Bat, but a quick false promise from Grims will save the day. Inkswell, however, will not allow Grims to run away. He will die, and now Carl gets a double chains off. They kill off Eris, going after that Enchantress. Meanwhile, Jamesy trying to fight onto Zephyr. But they have taken out a 3-for-1 trade so far. And Cuckoo should eventually be able to catch Jamesy out. Though Jamesy tries to TP out, does get away. They can just go back for the Roshan, though.
Yeah, and there's not going to be any contestation now from Cignal. They lost a bit too much in that fight. This is going to hurt them a lot for the high ground defense as well. You're not going to have the dragon form on Jamesy for that defense. He's going to be losing it fairly soon. That just takes a lot of the control and damage output that Cignal does have a bit away.
It's just hard to see what Cignal can do. The current struggles that are going on. Now Carl, I mean, it's only getting worse, right? He's got a Desolator up on the Ember, and it's quite a late Desolator. In fact, it's really his only item that's been bought for the purpose of actually increasing his damage output. Now, Raven, Abyssal into Van. However, Glimmercape will save Van's life. No detection available for that.
Yeah, you know what else is up, Mike? Whitemon has the Ags on the Grimstroke, so you've got that Dark Portrait illusion now. That can be really annoying to deal with, especially if they do grab, I suppose the Morphling's one of the better ones, if not the DK and the Enchantress.
That Morphling, though, like, you get a fully Agimorphed Morphling,
Oh, yeah.
and it does bonus damage, does it not? Yeah, 150...
Yeah.
It has 50% more damage than the actual hero. That's going to be a lot. So essentially, if he does take the Ink Portrait of a Bat, he'll basically be hitting for about 450 damage per right click with his own illusion of the Morphling.
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's not going to be a fun time for Cignal in that case.
They smoke up. They're going to try for something. Jamesy, smoke broken. Zephyr was in the tree line. They know, but he blinks out straight away. Nice blink out from Zephyr. Still chasing him down, but he has help on the high ground. This is where GeekFam want to fight. A bounty will be placed on the Queen of Pain's head. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to actually find Cuckoo.
Oh.
Raven. Let's jump in once again, straight on Van. He doesn't really have the damage output nor the detection to kill off the Enchantress. Now being Fortune's ended up, but jumping back in after the Enchantress. Swap is there. Raven will say thank you very much. I'll keep going after Van. Now the Sonic Wave and False Promise will save the day for him. Raven gonna lose that Aegis, so no. Zephyr jumps in with the black hole. They'll lose the ban on the Morphling, and now they'll lose Jamesy as well. And we have some ink portraits, John. There's that Morphling portrait. It is going to be a lot of damage here coming up with that Grimstroke, but it doesn't even matter. He doesn't get a chance to use it. The GG's been called. This game ends so darn quickly after one team fight. And the irony was, it was Cignal Ultra that were actually kind of forcing the Ursa into the base. Ends up in their own demise.
Look, Cignal, they needed to fight a lot earlier. They were finding good farm on Abbott. It's just that they couldn't translate that to any kills. You saw him shotgun. No one was dying. And GeekFam, again, maintaining that undefeated streak up against Cignal Ultra. There are a lot more games left for them, but a pretty strong showing for GeekFam. And Cignal, well, they've got to find a win somewhere else.
That is true. Of course, John, that is it for the night tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for some more great SCA donor for the BTS Pro Series 2, but that is it for us for this evening. I suppose I can quickly go over the schedule for tomorrow while we have a chance here, because, you know, there's no more games for tonight. So tomorrow, we're going to start off with TNC versus Adroit, and then TNC versus Boom Esports straight after that.
Oh, yeah.
Followed by Boom Esports versus GeekFam and Execration versus Cignal Ultra to finish us off for tomorrow night. But those two first series are going to be pretty big. TNC in both of them versus Adroit and Boom, some of the upcoming teams in SEA. And we saw Adroit today, John. They look fantastic up against RR. So see how it all pans out. But for now, it is MLP Dota. It is johnxfire. We'll see you all again same time tomorrow for some more great Southeast Asian Dota. See you then.